Hello, friends and listeners. You got a brand new episode of Watch Skip Plus. We want to be your go-to source for insightful and pop-cultured movie reviews that are more than 10 minutes because we're thoughtful over here. My name is Cupcake, also known as Jose. I'm joined by my co-host, Mike, the WillDaBeast, and joining us, that handsome mug in his cardigan pull-up, which I love, very stylish, is Pat, who was part of the Sundance crew. Welcome back, Pat. How are you doing?
Great. Thank you for having me back.
Yeah.
You guys.
Pat, you're such good vibes. Like every time we have you on the show, like you just bring me a big smile on my face. And I know you make Jose all warm and cuddly too. So.
I love
Wait till you get a big hug by this man. He's the best hugger.
Honestly, we chatted about it offline a bit, but I would love to see you guys at that event in Phoenixville one year in October there for the 24 hours.
Yeah, I need to get out there.
Yeah.
That should be simple enough.
Even though, like you said, it doesn't fit this podcast and it's contemporary films, just to see you guys there would be amazing.
Yeah. Speaking of festivals, the film that we're reviewing, I guess, was a big Fantasia Fest pick. It's where it got distributed. Pat, do you want to introduce the movie that we're reviewing?
So as a Canadian, I am honored to introduce Undertone, which is a Canadian film. It actually had its world premiere at Fantasia Film Festival in Montreal, July of 2025. And it was so well liked, I guess, that despite already having its world premiere there, it also went on to play even the midnight section at Sundance, which is quite an accomplishment because generally in my experience, even though the midnight section isn't a competition section, often the midnights usually are all world premieres as well.
Usually.
Typically. So when I initially saw it, and then it made me think a lot of an Oz Perkins film. But so it's all single shot and moody, great sound design, and I think I'm actually probably getting ahead of myself here. It's two people in the middle of the night because they're different time zones talking about one's a skeptic, one is a believer in, demonic things and all those wonderful things. The classics and characters where one's a skeptic and the other believes, and they do all these episodes on, frightening things and hauntings and supernaturals. And then exactly. And it's all from the point of view of the female and the male who only hear them. And I guess the things kick off when he says he's got this series of 10 recordings of supposedly of a demon, and they decide to play them one episode per recording, and live stream their reactions to it. And anybody who's seen Evil Dead, anyone who's seen Evil Dead have an idea of where that's going. Yeah,
I know. Actually, this film is kind of a pastiche of some of those things. When I had seen the trailer, I nicknamed it the Blair Skinamarink Project. I think we'll definitely get into our thoughts with that later. But just really quickly, as you indicated, this is from Canada. So a lot of the personnel involved in this film, especially the director, is from Canada. We have Ian Tuason. I don't think he's really done much, mainly just shorts. This is his big feature. If you look at a picture of him, or if you just wait, he seems maybe part Asian, or maybe there's some like Kiwi New Zealander in there. I have no idea what's going on, but he's kind of gorgeous. This is his first feature. $500,000 is what he used to make this film. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I will say it has like 20 or 40 producers. There's a big scrawl. And as you had noted also, this is kind of a, Mike likes to use these terms like chamber piece or a two-hander, as it were, because we really only have the lead actress. There was somebody playing her mother, who we'll get to, and then we have sort of voices, right? So Nina Kiri, people may know her from The Handmaid's Tale. She is also from Canada as well. And then the voice of the male is, and I could not place who this was until they told me, but Adam DeMarco, who is he's really gorgeous, kind of a little goofy looking or whatever, but he was in The White Lotus, and then Overcompensating, which is a hysterical sort of like gay themed coming out of college kind of like series on Prime. And he is hysterical in it as well. But I could not place who it was. And when I read Adam DeMarco, I was like, no shit.
Really?
And then our DP is Graham Beasley. Again, a lot of shorts. Really hasn't done much. So this is kind of like a brand new crew. I will note, strangely, when I IMDb'd this movie, I came across something called Undertone, another film, 2025. It's a 12-minute short directed by a gentleman named Sean Murrow. I don't know who he is. But the plot line or the log line goes, a sound recordist captures strange sonic phenomena underneath their house and things escalate from there. Does this sound familiar? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just weird that there's another film called Undertone, another short like this. But at any rate, this has caused a huge sensation. I mean, we're hearing things like scariest film you've ever heard, which I think is a turn of a phrase or whatever. But there's so much buzz on this.
That's
a lot
A24.
of us really, really looking forward to it. And so I'm going to start with Pat. What are your spoiler-free thoughts on Undertone?
Okay. Yeah, and actually, to start with that, maybe Mike could correct me on this, but I don't remember any buzz on this film at Sundance. Actually, not only did I not remember, I'll say as someone who pre-screens for Fantasia, not that I did this one, I was surprised when I found out that it premiered at some Fantasia. Like when I went to see it, it was just like, oh, this is on the midnight program. It's a podcast thing, could be interesting. And I watched it. And but if there's buzz, I think it's only since then. But I don't know when A24 picked it up. I'd have to double check that.
They had it before the festival.
It was.
I think they snapped it up right at the festival when it premiered.
Okay.
Like they were like, we ain't waiting, let's grab it.
Okay, so a lot of the buzz since that could be that goes to show when you get a powerful backer after the fact. It can they know what they're doing, obviously, because
I mean those trailers are eye catching, you know.
Because otherwise this film was swimming in obscurity. I mean, Fantasia is not a small festival. It's probably it's definitely the biggest genre film festival, in my opinion, in North America. One of the biggest in the world.
Well, this fits in the mode of Sundance two-handers, like Open Water, for example, is one of two people stuck in. You know,
I can definitely see why they got booked there.
Yeah, this is definitely fills the vibes of what they kind of go for. And it did kind of feel like that throwback to, again, we talked about the golden era, the 90s to 2000s, which that festival really was. And this is what that film kind of feels like, is a throwback to not that far, but maybe the 2010s, like the beginning of Paranormal Activity, right?
Exactly.
Or Blair Witch.
Blair Witch.
So
I don't think it takes nearly as much from Blair Witch as you do.
And I will say, like, my initial responses within the first 20 minutes, I'm like, this is like an Oz Perkins film. As far as the cinematography, the pacing, and then there's the sound, which is not like an Oz Perkins film because I've never really known his films for sound. But like the way this film is, they definitely found a great sound guy. Because it's, and I guess it might seem like a well-duh, but I'm pretty sure, I got thinking off the top of my head, but I know there's been a few podcasts or that kind of movies, and certainly sound wasn't treated the way it is with this one. Like it's really, it really elevates the film, I think, in a big way. It makes this film really interesting and enjoyable, especially seeing on a big screen. It's definitely, I mean, as film lovers, your listeners coming from us probably would consider it kind of cliche, or of course we would say that, but this is like one that definitely, if you want the best out of the experience of seeing this, you should really see it in the theater. Yeah. Watching it on a laptop is not going to be the same, or even on your TV at home. Yeah.
What did you think about the performances? And maybe we'll talk about this in the spoilers section, but we have talked about before about how films like Smile are based around trauma or something that the lead is emotionally sort of going through, that's encapsulated in the horror itself. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, exactly. In this case, it is driven by an interesting trauma, a couple of traumas, guilt, based around guilt and family, and two different types of family, generational family, but also next generation family. And so there's both kind of bookending it. So I think that's what lends to it being a very pensive kind of movie in some ways. Like such a quiet film, and even though I say that with the sound, I don't know if quiet's the right term, but that Oz Perkins feel I'm talking about, and I think that informs the performance of our lead in a big way. So it's so it's a very restrained performance, which I think is it's appropriate to what's happening around her. But it's also, it's almost playing like a straight woman to the chaos that's happening around her as well, which I think it works. And so I appreciate that she isn't hysterical. And actually, I say that now and I feel a little bad because we're talking about a female protagonist here. I know that could have negative connotations, but I mean, non-gender based, just in general, sometimes it could be too easy for an actor to just go for it and punctuate the scares or the tension with like over exaggerated fear and excitement and terror. She's a skeptic too on top of that, right? So I think that adds to it, kind of like John Cusack in 1418,
yes,
who also
or
actually
Scully
when you think about
in
Scully,
X-Files.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So actually these characters that kind of keep cool even when there's terrifying things happening, or suggestions of terrifying things or what have you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I ask a question, a follow-up really quick since we have you on?
Do it.
I want to hear your opinion on and what you think about this version. While watching this, I was thrown right into like the world of Pontypool, and I see so much Bruce McDonald in what we see here. Did you feel those vibes yourself being a Canadian? Did you feel that was like, this is an homage type to that world and to the work of Bruce?
That is awesome. I would never expect somebody from Salt Lake City to know Bruce McDonald.
It played at Sundance. Again, it played in Sundance in the mid-2000s, and Undertone is a throwback to that. Totally.
Fun fact, I remember I saw the kind of the Ottawa premiere of that. Apparently, it was the first Canadian film totally shot on digital. He was in
really?
Yeah, apparently it was. Yeah, I remember introducing it as that. I would have to double check that, but that's what I remember.
In 2008? Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. But when you say that, I didn't think of it when I was watching it, but absolutely that's the kind of film that I can see.
Good one, Mike.
Yeah.
Isn't McDonald kind of a cult figure up there to you guys? I mean,
although in the 90s, he was more of Jeremy Saulnier type filmmaker in that he did like road trip movies, punk rock movies, and all that. Like I could see him if he had the idea for this, or there was a book about it, because I think Pontypool is based on a book. Doing Undertone would be his next film a couple of years later.
Yeah,
like I could totally see. Yeah.
It would be a progression.
Yeah.
Actually, very, very key. Thank you for that. That I did not think about Pontypool. That should have been right there. What are your thoughts on this? Because, I said on Facebook before, it's going to be a short episode for me, which kind of telegraphed how I felt about this, but go ahead. What do you think, security?
First off, Pat, your opinion's a watch on this? Are you like a watch or not watch? I don't think you...
Initially, walking out of the theater was very mixed. So there was 4 of us that hanging together, but then I don't know if I'm just being influenced by that amazing A24 marketing machine, but I would lean towards watch, but with a caveat like will amazing sound design blow you away? The makeup for that. Do you love Oz Perkins? Do you like navel gaze horror? Like all these things. Like this will all be right up your alley. So it's like I would say it's a watch with a caveat that it's going to be for some people and not for other people. And then there'll be people like me who are like, I totally respect it, but it's a one-time watch for me.
Yeah.
I
kind of wanted to get your opinion because I feel very similar to you. So for me, this film is what I would call an experience. So when I would go to Georgia, for example, we always would go to, I ran music festivals there, and we always did the event at the Six Flags, and there was this ride called the Superman ride, and there was a big long line. That line took you an hour, and once you get on that ride, and it's maybe 30 seconds total, you go as fast as possible with your feet in the air like this, going straight up in the air, and it goes back down. And you get done, and you're like, woof, that was great. I want to do that again. And then you see the line is an hour plus again. Consistently. That is how I felt like with this movie, right? Like standing in the line, waiting for the pieces to come together and feel that final jolt of that last third really took some patience. And I think it will for anybody. But what that did for me is it put me in this feeling of unease. hardcore unease that I couldn't stop. The sound design, the anticipation for each tape, the fact that she really looks like Molly Gordon and Jenna Ortega had a baby, so I kept looking at her. It's like, oh my god, wow,
Thank
really
you
looks
for
like Jenna
stealing
Ortega
my
here.
comment.
Yeah.
Oh
Thank
my
you
god,
for
that's
stealing
Molly
my comment.
Gordon.
I was gonna say Jenna Ortega called and she wants her DNA back. Nina Kiri. Okay.
It looks like an older sister to somehow to them. She's uncanny, and I was hypnotized by her performance. But like you said, this is not for everybody. If you don't have the patience to stand in that line for that hour and just kind of watch and glance and listen, it's not going to grab you, and that's totally okay. People walked out of the screening I was at, and I get that it's not that type of movie that everyone's going to enjoy. It's not violent, it's not bloody, it's not gory. I mean, what makes it R? Like a couple F words, maybe. I mean, and then some communication about, stuff we'll get to in the spoilers.
What you're hearing.
There's some creepy stuff we're hearing. But mainly, again, it's, I mean, have you guys ever listened to these type of horror podcasts where people are telling spooky stories? I kind of dig this stuff myself. So I felt like I was the audience for this, and it really grabbed me. And by the end, I was like, woohoo! I felt like I did after the Superman ride. I was like, woof, I want to do that again, but I kind of want to just get to the last
again?
But then I was like, I kind of just want to get to the last third. Maybe I'll do this once a year.
All that other stuff.
My wife, this is definitely for her. I'm just not gory. It's not violent. And I think this will be something at Halloween I might pull out every year or two to show other people the experience of what it is. Like, just get ready and get it in the loudest speakers as possible and just make it a fun experience.
I'm gonna need to ask you to stop saying I'm gonna pull it out at Halloween for my wife.
Just get out of here, you freaking you always gotta turn into some horny shit, some sexy feet or whatever
By the way, no sexy feet in this. The grandmother's feet there's some big bunions, folks. That's the horror. Okay.
I had a good time with this, right? As an experience. I thought this was an experience, theatrical experience, that if you can see it in the biggest theater, loudest experience possible, whether it's IMAX or RPX or Dolby Digital, whatever it is, depending on the franchise of theaters around you, go and see it in Dolby or whatever loud sound you can.
And speaking of Halloween, by the way, no pumpkin heads in this movie.
No, but there's a great vibe to this movie.
No big heads.
if you want to catch the vibe, but if you don't catch the vibe, like the couple that left, I could tell they were bored out of their tears by the 45-minute point. And it was like, I mean, it's a classic 3 acts. You get the first act where you're just kind of getting introduced to who she is, her world. Then comes the tapes. Then comes the grand finale of the last 2 tapes. And it is this great 3-act structure. And if you can't get through those first 2 acts and it doesn't pull you in, you're going to miss that great 3rd act.
And exactly. And I feel like a hockey mom here. Like, as a mother in the suburbs, so as someone who's in film school, and film studies in my case, a few years ago I took a great course on psychological thrillers, and what I appreciate is this is although sometimes I think this happens by osmosis. Some directors, writers just they take this stuff in just by watching lots of movies, but definitely a smart director, because the use of mirrors in this. It's huge.
Oh my God, yeah.
So if you like that couple, if they're just used to like a slasher type movie or something like that, where it's like everything's just kind of like handed to you in a way, and I don't mean that in an insulting way. Sometimes it's nice to have just a very straight up pin your ears back type of movie. But if you understand the importance of mirrors and horror, especially psychological horror and all that, what it can mean and all that, it can be also some of the cinematography is quite, lack of a better word, I think, although I think Jose would like to like delicious. It's that you're consider, like, you're looking at all these interesting visual imagery, motifs, and all that that add to it. That I think is more than
adds
just
to the audio, right? So the visuals are only there to enhance the audio. The visuals aren't that important overall. You could literally listen to this movie and get most of what you would need out of it to enjoy it. Honestly, there's some little visual motifs you'll miss out on, but for the most part, 80% of it you could just listen. And I love that. I was expecting jump scares and I didn't get that. It's just a slow build of terror.
Yeah.
So I think that's why your people walked out, is with the hype that's surrounding this and the A20. By the way, I didn't realize I look like I have a Dutch tilt on my camera or whatever. But also in this film, when there was like a Dutch tilt, I was like, oh God. Anyway, sorry. But I think with the marketing, people are expecting a jump scare film. And it's not. You guys are right. This is very slow. It pulls you in. I would even say that the cinematography, in a way, is almost inviting the audience to experience it through her eyes and look around a
100%.
room or whatever. Yeah. So,
and it's an experience, right? I mean, just to finish off, go into this for an experience. Is there anything narratively new or any bit original, like with Dolly? No, there's not. You've seen this shit before. This is not an original story, but it is a ride. It's basically all it is. It's a pre-show to get you to the ride. And once you get there and you catch on to that and you're holding on and you're just waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting for that third act to finally hit. And for me, it did. And I get it. It didn't hit for everybody. At Sundance, the vibe was very much that it was meh. It was very I'm not going to say what the other films. I'll wait till our spoiler episode because I kind of don't want to spoil it too much for folks. But just go into this expecting something to lead you with your ears, and the audio, the visuals are just really there to wash over your brain. So yeah, for me, this is a watch, but it's not. It's very cautious watch. I'm serious with this. It's not for everybody. And if you are going into this expecting jump scares, it is two people. One person, basically, 2 people and a voice. So three people pretty much. You got mom, the character, and then someone on the phone. And like the Paranormal Activity, it worked for me and my wife when we watched those and they became this thing for us. But most people, we say, yeah, we love these, are like, fuck you. I'm never listening to anything you say about horror because those suck. And I get it. They're not for everybody. And that's kind of how I feel about this. It worked for me. But if it doesn't work for you, our friend Cupcake's about to tell us. Let's hear what you have to say, friend.
Okay. So unfortunately, this was massively disappointing. Okay. It's funny. Exactly. Sad trombone. Okay. But Mike, it's funny that you mention the metaphor of a roller coaster, because one of my immediate thoughts coming out of this film was there's enough here for a short, like a 20-minute short. Because a lot of this is, I'm just like, play all the fucking clips. Why are you waiting a week? What's happening?
In between that bugged me too. I'm like, who records a podcast like this?
Yes. Although I will say this, Scooter was kind of like, God, who does their research 5 minutes before the podcast? And I was like, that's actually real. Like, I'm just going to say, I do it. Sorry. People think there's all this research. No, there's like a quick Google search 5 minutes before we start recording. But the other thing, so I like the roller coaster metaphor because, again, I don't think there's enough material here. They're definitely padding this stuff out. And then the other thing is Mike, I had made this comment. I know you're going to swear that you didn't react this way, but way back when, and it might have been on Keeper, an Oz Perkins movie,
which I like.
Funny. Ironically.
And you didn't like, if I remember.
No.
I liked it.
Yeah, and generally I don't enjoy Oz Perkins either, by the way.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I do.
I like the long legs and the monkey. But the long arms and the whatever. But so what I had said that review was, I am tired of the low budget horror film where, because they don't have special effects, because they don't have a big budget, they rely on the slow pan in or the slow pan out. And Mike, you kind of took offense to that. They're like, oh, they're doing it because it's cheap. I mean, yeah, they are basically. I feel like it's a narrative in horror films, low budget horror films specifically, that has sort of developed from that. And so color me surprised or not surprised that this film's one of its big revisions is that instead of the slow pan in, we get the slow pan to the left or the slow pan to the right to create dread. And I think I saw budget limitations and first-time filmmaker all over this, but additionally, I had teased that this was kind of a pastiche, so I jokingly called it the Blair Skinamarink Project. It has sort of that Skinamarink, like, take a look at this dark hall. Aren't you scared? You know, and then also, like, I was getting a lot of what Blair Witch did, which was sound and darkness. Like, what can you see in the dark? Do you see something? Are you seeing something with the sound? And curiously enough, because Mike had sort of teased this for me, he had said that go see it in RPX where the sound design is really good. I didn't think the sound design was all that great. I thought
it was wonderful.
So listen, I thought that what we were going to get was sonic stuff, like sounds thrown from speaker A in front of you to speaker D behind you, but there really wasn't any of that. And what I did hear was, just like in Dolly, I was repeatedly asking myself, maybe this is going to be a Watch Skip Plus catchphrase, but is this really scary? Am I scared by this? I don't know. And so unfortunately, 0 for 2, this is the second horror film with buzz that I thought I was going to be scared by, and I was not. This was a huge disappointment. Also, if you look closely too, there's some homages to The Nun, I guess, and obviously The Exorcist. We've got close up of clocks. We've got, you know, this like, ooh, this is the demon from the past coming. Yeah.
Is there something in the shadow in that corner or not? You know,
right? And
that's kind of like
it worked. It worked the first 2 times they used that sequence, but then if you keep hammering somebody over the head with it, it's like. By the way, you said there were no pumpkin heads. Adam DeMarco has a huge head. His head is enormous, so you might not have seen it, but you heard it. You heard the pumpkin head. So unfortunately, it's a huge skip for me because it was just way disappointing.
And you weren't a Primate fan either, so this is like 0 for 3. I guess you liked the Bone Temple, which we all loved.
I love the Bone Temple. Oh my God.
I think everyone loves the Bone Temple. The way you said it, you love it in a whole different way than we do.
I love those movies. I love those.
And to tie this back into the film, this really is a movie about these kind of like stories, right? These myths. These
urban legends.
These urban legends.
Completely. But, you know, it is what it is. I mean, you guys kind of liked this.
Yeah. And you did not.
And I did not. Yeah. I hated it. Okay, so any other further thoughts before I conclude our spoiler-free?
Yeah, spoiler-free. We got to get into the spoilers to talk anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we definitely need to. So, folks, as you know, on Fridays we release the spoiler-free episode, and then 2 days later on Sunday, the spoilered or movie discussion, kind of a movie breakdown depending on our moods, that comes out. So definitely come back for that, folks. Pat, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Obviously, you're going to come back for the spoiler discussion. Can you imagine if we kicked out the guest and was like, hey, we didn't like how he was talking, so it's just the 2 of us now for the spoiler. That guy's terrible. We're never having him back. Anyway, but if you love us, you'll certainly love our Podfathers, The Gentleman's Guide to Midnight Cinema, Not a Bomb, The OG's Night of the Living podcast, and then, of course, the rest of our pod roll who we love, the Raiders of the Podcast. And now for something a little bit different, our YouTube brothers, Caliber 9 from Outer Space, and then, of course, Death by DVD, Feminine Critique, Talk Without Rhythm with Garo, Backlook Cinema podcast, and, of course, the Wild Dream podcast. I love those guys, Daniel and David. Any other parting thoughts before I sign off?
Take your kids to the theaters. I took mine to see the Ninja Turtles. And I just have to tell you, there was a guy there with developmental disabilities who was standing up and cheering and quoting, screaming every line. And it was so fun and sweet. And my son was 8. He was just like, I'm so happy for him, how much he loves
makes
this.
My heart sing.
And they're over here telling me, are these cringy costumes the whole time? And I was like, yes, it is. My 8-year-old.
Wait, which one did you see? The first one?
Second. The Secret of the Ooze, the live-action cartoon, basically.
That's amazing.
Except they did dance for Ninja Rap, so at least there was that. Take your kids to the movies.
That does give me a thought that a lot of people using this excuse, like, I don't like going to movies anymore because people make noise, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, what are you talking about? I mean, it's never that bad. And I don't mind telling people to shut up if it's really that bad. But in my whole life, it's very rare. But one thing I do love, I mean, when I had nieces and nephews who are of that age, and I locally, and I take them to children's movies, I loved that energy. Like, it wasn't to that extreme. I love of somebody standing up and repeating lines. I love the kids laughing and even talking and excitement about it. Or that can actually be enjoyable too if it's appropriate to it. Even a horror. I mean, that's why I'm seeing horror movies or comedies, and the noise actually is amazing. The energy, as long as it's not two people talking about.
I mean, listen, I didn't like Minecraft. It wasn't made for me, but to see kids dancing, repeating lines, getting up and like running through the aisles, I'm like, less Coke, please, for that child.
And go during the day. Take your children during the day. We're not telling you to take your kids at 7 or 9 o'clock at night. Take them at noon. The matinees are for a reason. I try to go to the first or second screening of the day, 11 or 12 or 1. So
I don't want your 5-year-old at Peaky Blinders.
Yeah.
Oh my God. How about the crying infant at Sinners? I was like, please take them out. Like, the vampires are coming. Take them out. Like, I don't understand. At any rate, folks, as always, be kind, be open, be vulnerable. That's where the art is. Don't take your infants to Sinners, please. No. Please, God. All right. See you on the other side.